Hi everyone. Today we wanted to talk to you about values. Again, you may have seen our other video about career values. And today we wanted to demonstrate it with relationship values. Sometimes you'll be coaching clients that are struggling with relationships either in the workplace with a line manager or colleague, or maybe with relationships outside of work. And identifying your relationship values or their relationship values will enable them to start to work out how they want to approach the challenge that they're facing, and also to understand it, because sometimes it can be quite confusing.
Yeah.
So Zoe has kindly offered to be coachee today. So as a quick reminder, values are the things that we must have. So in the context of relationships, what do we need to have or experience in our relationships in order to be happy and fulfilled? How do we decide if the relationship is a healthy relationship for us or not? Zoe?
I think they're well covered. They are a source of our emotions. So when our values aren't being met, we can experience negative emotions. I think in the context of relationships, we can just feel, I don't know, lonely or annoyed or sad. It can be all sorts of negative emotions. And when your values are met in a relationship, you're likely to feel, just that it's a high quality relationship, somebody that you can rely on, somebody that you can count on. So they're a source of emotion, and really important to be aware of what your values are, particularly when building relationships. And these don't have to be romantic relationships, as Jay said, like work relationships as well. Like helping people to understand how they need to show up for you in relationship can be really helpful, because people aren't mind readers. So the more people know about you and your needs, the more effective those relationships can be. Yeah, so let's do it.
Business partner.
Like a business
How do you
partner.
decide which is the right business partner for you? So you might have seen me shuffling around. It's because I was just grabbing myself a pen that works and a piece of paper. So when you're in the role of coach, you'll need to write down what your client is saying, because you'll be reflecting it back to the client partway through the exercise. Make sure that you get their permission to take notes during the discussion so that they're comfortable and know that you're doing that. So, ready to start, Zoe?
Let's do it. Yep.
Okay, great. So, can you share with me what's important to you in your relationships?
Yeah, so trust, honesty, respect, fun, connection, safety. Yeah.
Great. So we've got trust, honesty, respect, fun, connection, safety. What else is important to you in relationships?
What else? About reliability, being able to rely on that person.
Yeah.
Something about there's something about like freedom, and that's like freedom to kind of be myself, but also freedom. I'm trying to think what the opposite is. So what's coming to mind is to not be smothered by somebody, both in friendships, work relationships, and romantic relationships. There's something about I think the opposite to that is freedom. Yeah.
What else is important to you in your relationships?
It's probably related to safety, but security. And I think it probably comes back to trust. It's just that knowing that person holds you in good heart,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those of you that are listening intently will probably have noticed that I asked Zoe what's important to her about her relationships, and then I asked her what else is important 2 more times. In this exercise, the reason that we do that is to break through the kind of habitual responses that we give, the standard responses or responses we think people expect to hear, and actually get the person to really reflect in their unconscious mind and connect with the things that are true to them. So an analogy would be when we ask somebody, how are you? And they say, I'm fine, or yeah, good, thanks, as a standard response. If we ask again and we say, how are you really? They'll often say, tired or really excited, we got this thing coming up, and you get more information, a truer reflection. What I normally do when I'm facilitating an exercise like this with a client is I will brief them on the exercise beforehand and explain that in that first question I am going to ask them the same question more than once, and that's just to so that they know I'm not asking them the question more than once because they've got it wrong, because a lot of coaches will be concerned, am I doing this right, help me through this. So it just helps them to feel safe within the exercise, which then enables them to get a truer answer for themselves. So Zoe's given us a great list so far. So trust, honesty, respect, fun, connection, safety, reliability, freedom to be yourself, which is related to not being smothered, and security. Is there anything else that's coming to mind?
No. Let's try the next one out.
Okay. So can you remember a time when you're really, really happy and satisfied in a relationship?
Yeah. Yep.
As you remember that time, what was it that caused you to feel really happy and satisfied?
I think it's something about, I don't know where it is, some kind of mutuality or equality, like something around, I know that I am as of much value to them as they are to me. Yeah, something about that. Not sure what the word is, but yeah, mutuality.
And what's
good.
important to you about that?
I think that in itself is just important. Yeah, I think it's just one of the it's just something that's important.
Can you think about another time when you felt really, really happy in a relationship?
Yeah.
What was it in that example that caused you to feel really happy?
It's the same stuff. I think it's that kind of trust, honesty, respect, being seen as equals. No games, no hierarchies. Nothing like that. Just yeah, it's probably equality. Yeah.
Okay. So you've added a couple of extra ones there: mutuality, equality, maybe an opportunity to reflect, on whether they're the same or they're different.
Yeah.
You also mentioned being seen as equals, where there's no hierarchies and no games. So if you had trust, honesty, respect, fun, connection, safety, reliability, freedom to be yourself, security, mutuality, equality, and seen as equals, so not just being it, but also being seen as it, is there anything that would tempt you into another relationship?
I think there is something around growth. Like I'm thinking specifically about work relationships now, but I think it can come into others and friendships particularly. I like somebody who like pushes me, like just inspires me to up my game. I think that's probably about learning and growth in a relationship. I think even in romantic relationships, I think growing together, learning together, not standing still, then those things are important. Yeah, so something about learning and growth.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So if you were tempted by those things into another relationship, and the relationship that you were thinking of leaving for that relationship said, okay, I can meet those needs. I can give you growth. I can push you. We're not going to stand still. You could feel inspired in that relationship. You can learn together. What else would encourage you to stay in that relationship?
I think it's some of the same stuff. Something about authenticity. So I think it's covered. Like, I think it's trust, honesty, respect, connection. I think it's those things. I think I'm good. Like, they sound pretty good. I'd be happy with lots of those in my life, and I think I'm fortunate to have lots of those in my life. So
here's the list. Here's the evidence of actually writing them down.
Yeah.
So where we would go next in this exercise, if the client wanted to, is we would work through a ranking, so a prioritization. So which of those values are most important to them in relationships, and how they would do that is they would put them into the order. Part of that process may mean they'll start to say to you, actually, authenticity is the same as trust, which is the same as respect, and they'll probably talk you through it and say, actually, can I just put that into one? Of course they can. It's their list.
Yeah.
And if you can get them at that stage to take over and do the writing and work through it themselves, that works well. It's also about, you would then, in terms of the facilitation, is you would, once they've got their list, let's say they've got 10, you would divide the list into two, top 5 and the second 5, and you'd say, okay, I've got 2 different relationships for you. I think you'd love both relationships. In this first relationship, you would have, and you'd read the top 5. How does that sound? And they'd say, oh, yes, that sounds great. And they say, okay, what about this relationship? You'd read the values out. They say, yeah, that sounds good as well. If you had to choose, which relationship do you think you'd be most happy and satisfied in? Now, if they say definitely the first top 5, that's a good indication that those are in the right order. What they might say is, oh, that one, definitely that one, but this is really important to me. So then you test that out and you say, is that more important to you than the number 5 value? Would you trade it off? And that's how you would then work out where that value would be placed in that list.
Another way I would do rankings, once we've got that kind of top 10 list, is just playfully be like, right, which value are you going to give away first? Like, there's people over there that don't have any values. Which one of your values are you going to give away first, till you come down to like just one? And clients, it's quite fun, and clients do find that really hard because they're like, I don't want to give any of them away. So it just helps to kind of test that thing out. And the reason you want an order, again, is because the top 5 tend to influence most of your behaviours, most of your emotions, and the decisions that you make. So I think if a client can be really crystal clear on the values that they hold dear, then they can use them much more readily when making decisions about their relationships and things like that.
So we hope that that's helped you, to give you an exercise that might either be useful for you personally, or if you're managing a team of people, that you can use in either of those contexts. Or when you're working with your clients, from all walks of life. You might be interested in another video that we have done for you, which is called 8 Needs in a Relationship. So if you'd like to build on the relationship values work, search that video out, and that will give you another exercise and a build on that. So we'll see you again next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.